Hey Stonefacers, welcome to the channel.
Today we're back out at our bushcraft camp. I'm going to be doing some more bushcraft today. If you would, please like this video, helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate it. So Kevin, what are we doing today?
I don't know, what are we doing today?
I don't know, why don't you refer to the trusty old manual?
Bam! Let's see here. I think I'll build some shelters.
Let's do it.
Alright. Stoneface!
It's bushcraft time!
Yeah!
So today for my plan, I'm gonna keep working on my lean-to shelter here. Last time I used a tarp on the back, but today we got more time and there's a lot more foliage. So I'm gonna cut a lot more poles, make it a little smaller, a little tighter, and go cut some branches off of a cedar tree we have over there. They're probably about the best thing we have right now, because I could use some of this Russian olive stuff, but those are just gonna die and fall off in a couple weeks anyways. So let's get to it. Well, as you can see, I've got all my poles cut and laid out on the branch. Gonna lash them down and then get to working on the rain guard. So, as you can see, got it all lashed down. They move a little, but once we get some branches woven in between them, it will be nice and sturdy. Now when you're weaving foliage through these poles like this, the thinner the better because they're more flexible and you really can't get enough in there. It's as you're going along, it's good just to take your hands and pull them up. And when you're crisscrossing, make sure you go over and under different poles. That way it doesn't pull one pole up and one down. Well, as you can see, I almost got the shelter done. I've been cutting some of these boughs from a cedar tree and shoving up in there perpendicular to the other brush along with the poles, and should help shed water this way and more insulation from the wind for sure. So almost got it done. This shelter is by no means 100% waterproof. It would take probably a couple days to get enough sticks in there to get it waterproof, and then once the leaves die and fall off, it's not gonna be waterproof anyway. So it should keep the rain off of me though, unless we have a torrential downpour, which there's no rain in the forecast. And this bottom last little section is mainly just these branches, but that's just to keep the wind from going through there. So should do me good for the night. I think the last thing I'm going to do, because I have some extra tops, is to cut shorter poles and kind of do a little bit on the sides just for some more wind protection. But yep, that's my shelter for the night. All right, so we got the shelter complete for the night. Got the sides on. Got those brushed. Back's brushed fully. Should do me for the night. Not absolutely the most roomy place, but you know, the bigger the more work, so. But definitely keep me warm in here tonight and dry for the most part.
As you can see with the debris shelter, you simply just stack sticks and try to interweave them so it gives you a frame, and then just stack foliage up around it to reduce water and whatnot for a shelter. Home on the range, where the deer.
Man, it's looking good.
Thanks.
Man, let's just hope Bigfoot doesn't come along tonight and want to join us.
So as you can see on this debris shelter that I'm creating, I'm also going to create a half door here for some more wind coverage, and just in case it rains tonight, which it just might. basically on these debris shelters, you want to weave some sticks here, and then you want to get all your brush and your foliage in there as tightly as possible. One item that is extremely helpful in bushcrafting is a folding knife, folding saw. One item that is extremely helpful in bushcraft is a folding saw. They have several different models on the market. This is actually just a cheap Walmart find. It's really useful to cutting those branches and even small trees when you don't want to use an axe, and it's a lot safer too than using an axe. Get you one. As you can see from this debris A-frame setup, basically what you want to do is just keep adding leaves and even shoveling dirt eventually, because these leaves are going to die. But it is cozy and there's enough room for me to lay down, and I even have this wind block here too. So I'm pretty much all set for the night.
Now that I got the shelter done for the night and the fire pit dug out, I'm going to show you guys how to build a bushcraft chair. Alright, so for the bushcraft chair, you need 2 poles about 5 feet long. There really is no exact dimensions, this is kind of what I go off of. And then 2 poles about 4 feet long to start off, and then you'll have to cut 1 more pole for an angle bracket, and then you have to cut the smaller poles to go back and forth to actually sit on. So let's get started. Those 2 are about the same. We'll shorten this one up. And you need some rope. First thing I do is take the 2 shorter poles, the 4-footers, crisscross them just at the top like this, and lash them together to create an A-frame. There you have your first part, the A-frame. And the 2 other poles are going to connect to here, sticking out about 1.5 feet, and then going back. So what you want to do is take this, set it aside. Your other 2 poles, bring those, and once again, crisscross them and lash them together at one end. See some strange things in the wilderness these days. All right, go ahead and flip that around, set it towards the back, take your other A-frame, when you do this part, you take the longer poles and you set it on top of the shorter A-frame, and you make sure that this is sticking out about 1.5 feet past where you're going to lash it, because then this is going to stand up and then it'll be sticking out forward to create a platform to actually put some smaller sticks on to create a chair. One thing you can do is, if you have an axe, always use it as a measuring stick, because I know my handle is 24 inches and I know roughly here is about 18 inches. So move it back just a little. And then do the same thing to the other side. To get an exact measurement, you can take your axe handle and hold it to make a mark, to know that you're tying it at the exact same spot. So now the next thing we do is stand this up. And you can bring these closer together as far away as you like it. But as you can see, the basics of the chair is here. And the next step is to cut your pole to go from the ground to here to create how far you want it to lean back or lean forward. So we're gonna do that now. So as you can see, I got the frame for my chair done. Have the two A-frames tied together and the pole going to the back for support. Got my front poles sticking out, which what we're gonna do next is lay boards horizontally across there for the seat. And you can always trim these poles off on the front wherever you need them. So we're gonna get to that next step then. Well, here's the Bushcraft chair. Pretty comfortable for a bundle of sticks. Well, pretty much set up for the night. I think now I'm going to spend some time harvesting some firewood. Stay hydrated. Almost bit off more than I could chew. So what we got here is some Chinese elm. It is like the worst splitting wood, but it burns really good. Luckily, right now, Kevin's with me, so we do have two axes. Normally people don't have this. So I'm gonna show you a little trick you can use. And that's about the only way you can split that.
So today we're going to be using the bow drill. To the bow drill, basically you have a bow. I got some 550 cord here. You got to have a stick to be turned in, and the most important part of the bow drill is the fireboard. As you can see here, there is already a notch cut in here. That V notch right there is the most important part of the bow drill. When the bow drill gets spinning, as you can see here, this notch, it's going to cause enough friction and enough heat to cause an ember, and we're going to catch it in some leaves, and I'm going to put a little piece of char cloth there, and we're going to get a fire started that way. And also you're going to need I basically just in my shop just cut this piece out here, but you can do it out in the field, and you just cut a little hole right there to fit in top, so the bow's going to turn. So let's get started. So basically what you want to do is put your foot on the stick there. And then get to turn it. And it's going to take a lot of energy to get this going.
Also, when you're harvesting material for your grass nest, is pick up the stuff that's highest. Sometimes it's best just to cut the top of the grass off of the tufts that you see around, because you got to make sure your tinder is dry.
Another trusty item to have while bushcrafting is the Scottish bit. Basically what it is, it's an auger bit attached to a pipe, welded to a pipe. And basically when you're out in the bush, put a stick in there and then you have a drill at that point. You can drill holes into your structures, attach pegs and everything else. It's really useful.
Well, most of our work's done for the day, so I think it's about time I make myself a cup of coffee. Good old trusty Stanley cup.
And I brought the good old trusty bucket.
Guess we should probably cut some poles for that so we can cook some dinner.
Or we can just stick it on that grill there.
Alright, fine. But that pot hanger is so bushy. So bushcrafty.
It is very bushy.
It's the bushcraft thing to do, man. Got some good old Pike's Place Starbucks instant coffee, because most instant coffee is total garbage and I'm a coffee snob, and this is about the best stuff you can get for instant coffee. I'm just gonna leave the camera rolling to catch our riveting conversation we always have. Just edit out the dumb stuff. What do we want for supper tonight, Kevin? Do we want Spanish rice or loaded baked potatoes?
Loaded baked potatoes sounds good to me.
Alright. Idahoan loaded baked potato mashed potatoes, because Idahoan is the best instant mashed potatoes. Everything's instant out in the bush. And summer sausage. You want some coffee in your Cusca? That's gonna be.
Oh, that's good.
It's gonna taste better out of a wooden Cusca, right?
It's got to. Because what's more bushy than
A wooden cup.
a wooden Cusca? Got those taters.
Was that boiling? It's supposed to be good and boiling.
Oh yeah, it's hot. That's good.
Okay, there you go.
Hopefully that holds it all.
They expand a little. I just eat it out of the mucket. If you want.
Do what?
I'll just eat out of the mucket.
Alright. Pretty darn good potatoes.
It is. We didn't grow them ourselves, but
Could have.
yeah, if we start now, we'll have some grown for August's videos.
Yeah.
Of course, that'd be real dedication to the bushcraft world.
Bushcraft farming.
Uh-huh.
Huh? Pretty good coffee.
I'm sure it tastes even better out of your Cusco.
Can't get any more bushy than that.
No. That's when you're on next level bushcraft. Of course, then the next level above that.
You don't chop your fingers
Don't
off.
you? Learning how to properly use a handsaw.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I always bring stuff out to the bush that I probably would never eat at home, but it's always so amazing and delicious.
Right.
Probably because I'm starving. Burnt like 1,000 calories just building that shelter.
Yeah, you definitely use up a lot of calories and a lot of energy building a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's tiring.
For sure. Package of summer sausage is great to bring out here because it doesn't go bad until you open it, and once you open it, you still probably, you got like 12 hours before it goes bad. It's great protein to have with your dinner. You want some Spanish rice?
Yeah, I'll take some. Oh, that's good, that's good. To Uncle Ben's?
Uncle Ben's.
Uncle Ben. Ain't nothing beats some good old Uncle Ben.
It's crazy to think there's people who go through life that don't, I don't know, either have the gumption, the know-how, or the guts to come out and experience this kind of stuff. Even just regular camping, which I think regular camping is nothing compared to this. But there's just something about being out here, like, almost like the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it also takes a certain type of person too, adventurous spirit, you know.
That's probably why the death rate used to be a lot higher, because back in the day you didn't have a choice.
You know, sometimes it's better to have a short life than a long and miserable life, though, too, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta be doing something you love to do.
Yeah, my grandpa told me a long time ago, he's like, jobs might pay the bills, but it ain't worth going to work every day if you're doing something you hate.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be miserable in life.
No. Yeah, this time we were out here, we actually found a dead elm tree that was blown over and cut it up and split it. That's some real firewood right there.
It's some thick
Tough.
Yes, sir.
We don't mess around.
It's definitely some dense wood.
Summer sausage.
Yeah, please. Thanks.
I think nowadays people have a hard time getting out and doing this kind of stuff. Just being able to put your phone down for 10 minutes.
That's true. You know, I think we definitely live in a connected world, and it's nice to unconnect yourself and get back to the roots and get back to nature.
Says the guy's recording a video with technology.
That's right, yeah.
We just thought it'd be a good idea to share our experiences with the YouTubes.
Yeah, we hope it inspires people to get out there and put those phones down and, you know, really enjoy the wilderness experience.
For sure.
Because you're never going to remember your best day, you know, in front of a device.
No.
You know, you're going to remember, hey, I went camping and got soaking wet and drenched to the bone, you know.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget one of the first times I went backpacking with my brother-in-law. Then we knew there was a chance of rain. It was down in Missouri at Bell Mountain. And on our way down there, as soon as we were getting into the hills of Missouri, the roads were ice. And it was starting to sleet and ice. And by the time we had our packs on, we were hiking through the woods, it was freezing rain. And I'll never forget, like the last elevation gain of the trail, it was like 600-foot elevation gain. And as soon as we got to the top of the mountain, it was an ice storm. Everything was covered in ice. And I mean, it was crazy. It was just it was probably the second time I went backpacking in an ice storm. But I guarantee you I'll never forget that the rest of the days I live. We didn't die.
Some of the tougher times, you know, when you're out camping and stuff, is sometimes the most memorable times you have.
And that was also the day that we were thought it'd be a good idea to take some uncooked meat, some like steaks with us to try and cook, and we couldn't get a fire going, so we ate like granola bars and ramen noodles for dinner. That's why you always pack an extra package of ramen noodles.
That's right.
They're weightless, and they will fill you up. Oh, man, having this Bushcraft chair is the life.
Yeah. I'll sit down here on the ground. Chairs just ain't the cowboy way, so you know.
No.
Good old ground.
At least cowboys are smart enough to use their horse blankets to sit on.
That's true.
You want more?
I think the chiggers kind of toughened you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that time we went camping and we must have got into a colony of chiggers?
Oh
got
yeah.
eaten up. I've never itched so much in my life.
Quiver River, Troy, Missouri. Must have just, I think it was like, so we got back on Saturday, and the next day, Sunday at church, Kevin comes up to me, he's like, "You got chigger bites?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got like 100 of them." Oh man, we were covered in them. It was bad.
For 2 weeks.
Itched for 2 weeks. Oh,
Yes.
for
For
sure.
a good 7-8 days, I don't think I slept a whole night through because I was just waking up itching, you know.
Oh yeah.
I normally don't go to the pharmacy, but I definitely got some chigger lotion that time.
Oh man.
So it was rough.
Yeah, I took my brother-in-law camping once, and he got into a mess of seed ticks. Like, we were sitting there at the camp, he's like, "Man, I'm kind of itchy." And he lifts his shirt up, and just like little specks. It looked like freckles, like covered in, like, I bet he had like 200 seed ticks on him. He had to go to the emergency room to get steroid shots and all kinds of stuff, man. You gotta be careful when you're out here, because bugs can really mess you up. But that is no excuse not to go outside.
It might just rain.
It just might. The weatherman lied again. It's okay, we got the fire going already. It ain't gonna go out now. Unless we had like a torrential downpour.
Yeah, using that bow drill, I mean, it is definitely, takes some energy to get it done, but if you get the right woods, it is doable, you know, and it's a skill that you got to perfect, you know, just like you have the bow drill, and then you got the hand drill, where you're literally, you know, drilling down, and
that'll tear your hands up.
That and you got to select the right piece of wood, you know.
That's another thing is, you know, it can be hard to be lucky enough that you're in the right area that's got the right hardwoods to be able to do that, you know. That's a whole nother skill in and of itself, being able to make a bow drill.
Yeah, and it's important to learn and practice, you know, your firecraft, you know.
Oh yeah. When you're first getting into bushcraft, you don't want to go out there without a backup. Make sure you always take a lighter for backup, just in case.
Yeah, and take a Bic lighter. Don't take one of the discount house ones, you know.
Yeah, make sure it's reliable.
Good old Bic. Nothing beats flicking the Bic. I don't think I've had too many Bic lighters fail on me.
No. I've had the same one in my backpack for backpacking for like 3-4 years. And I tell you what though, like the difference between bushcraft and backpacking, when you're out here at bushcraft, you got your axes and your saws. Like, I mean, it was a bit of work, but it's great having actual split cut lumber for a fire. You know, backpacking, you spend hours collecting sticks, and every campsite you go to, all the sticks have been robbed, and man, you can just search around for hours trying to find sticks, and it almost sucks having a fire when you're backpacking.
Yeah, and I'd almost recommend at least having a little handsaw, you know. And it's something that I don't think I did when I was backpacking, you know. And getting into bushcraft, you quickly learn about some of the tools and stuff that you're going to bring. And I don't think I'd go backpacking without at least a little cheap handsaw.
At this point, yeah. It's definitely worth it. Because every campsite you go to has got a log there. But if you went and it's rained, you know, everything's going to be wet. But if you can cut something with a saw, then you're going to be able to get to some dry wood.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to get used to too, is to come up with a fire stick, you know, to catch that spark on them ferro rods.
Yeah, get used to using your ferro rod. Yeah, I purchased this ferro rod not too long ago. It was like 16 bucks, but it is a fantastic ferro rod. It is quite large, but man, it puts off a real good spark.
And you can use it for a billy club too. I mean, check this thing out. I mean, it is.
I bet it weighs a pound.
That's a baseball bat, is what that is. You know, you could beat down Bigfoot with that easily.
Yeah.
You know?
There you go. Nunchucks. Yeah, I hope Bigfoot doesn't come along and want to spend the night with me. It's a pretty attractive shelter.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
That's it for today. We're going to enjoy our evening by the fire, hit the hay for the night, and we thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like it, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and stay tuned for more.
And keep your boots dry and your blades sharp. Yeah.